to the Mad About You podcast, episode number 18. My name is Madeline and I'm your host. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I know that this has been super sporadic and my absence on YouTube and even on Instagram has been pretty significant. And if you're a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. I don't really know how this is going to go. I feel like I've said that the last few times this year, but I've only done 4 videos this year plus a vlog from my European yarn tour extravaganza. So yeah, please bear with me and yeah, we'll see how we go. So I think usually I talk about finished objects and then objects that I'm working on, whips, those things, and then I talk about what I've got coming up and what's happening in my life. But we might just, yeah, let's start with finished objects. So the first finished object I have here is my Soul Dot and a Crop, which is a pattern by Boyland Knitworks. I don't really necessarily want to talk about the pattern so much, but it's a finished object and I finished it in time for Christmas. This has been a bit of a laborious knit for me, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about it. I cast it on back in August, and I bought the yarn from Wool Warehouse. It's Erica Knight and I think it's 100% wool, whatever it is, and I can't remember what the colors are exactly, but if you I'll link below to my Ravelry page where I have all of the yarn, and I'll also put in some detailed project notes, which I haven't done yet. So if you're interested, maybe like just follow that project page or favorite it or whatnot, and I will get to updating that at some point. Yeah, so I started it back in August and I tried to finish it in time for my Europe trip, and I got almost to the end and just didn't get to the sleeves, or kind of like the last maybe like 2 inches plus the ribbing on the bottom, so it didn't make it on my trip, and then it went into hibernation. I pulled it out maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago and then realized that I'd made a mistake, and so I kept it in hibernation, and then finally I wanted to wear it on Christmas Day, and it's the 28th of December today, so Christmas was a couple of days ago, and yeah, so I did finish it in time and I did manage to wear it, so I'm really happy with it. It's I made the medium size and I'm probably a large, to be honest, but I didn't have enough of the blue to make it bigger, I don't think. Or actually, you know what, I probably could have in terms of like the yoke, because I've had quite a lot left over of all the other colours. But I will, yeah, have that on my Ravelry page. Yeah, so anyway, it's finished. It's a bit, I've blocked it, washed it, blocked it, it dried, I've woven in all the ends. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. So I wore it with a navy blue linen dress that I had on Christmas with some like little clog sandals, so I think it looked pretty cute. You can check me out on Instagram if you want to actually see how it looked, or if I can be bothered, I'll insert a picture in here. Yeah, so anyway, this is my first finished object. Now, I can't remember if I spoke about this the last time I podcast, because it's been a long time, but anyway, I finished the hat here. I think it's a Latu hat. I may have shown it before, so I apologize, but it's red and it's a nice really simple cable pattern actually, and it's Moonshine Fiber, Juniper Moon Farm. Oh dear, anyway, I've butchered that. I'll put the details below anyway. And that was a really quick knit. I think I did that in a couple of days, and really that's all I've got in finished objects, and that's all I've done in 6 months. Yeah. So anyway, that's my finished objects done in 4 minutes with an intro. So yeah, not really been a lot of knitting, and I've got a few works in progress, so I'll show you that. The first one I've been working on since I went on my Europe trip, and it's my Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli, and I made a mistake somewhere, and so this has also been in hibernation. I've ripped back like this much worth. I still can't find it. My stitch count is off, so this afternoon's job I think would be to try and find exactly where I went wrong. Excuse me. So the yarn I'm using anyway is by Hugh Loco. It's, well, I should start with the pattern. So I did say it's the Pure Joy by Hugh Locatelli, so that's it here. And the pattern is actually really pretty simple. It takes 2 skeins of yarn, and you just kind of repeat these wedges back and forth, and it's a paid for pattern, so that's sort of all I'll say. Eyelets, and I wasn't super sure on the colors, like I didn't know if there was enough contrast with this gray, but it's the Hey Sister, no, not at all, different yarn dye completely, sorry, Hugh Loco, and it's the Big Sister Little Sister Grocery Girls thing. So I made the Girl from the Grocery Store shawl a couple of years ago for myself with, I think, the Little Sister, and I think this is the Big Sister. I could have them around the wrong way, but anyway. I also have a project page on Ravelry for this one. So yeah, it's in the naughty corner because I just can't figure it out, and I've ripped back and I've tinked back and I've taken the needles out and I still can't find it. And I don't really want to rip the whole thing out, but that may end up happening. And then the only other work in progress that I have here with me, I'm not in Australia at the moment, I'm overseas for work, but I'll be home really soon. It's just a basic beanie. So I'm using some wool I bought in Paris earlier this year. So it's some Fonty, which is a French yarn. So there's pink and like a bluey grey tweed. And I'm just doing a basic Claqueton pattern. So I'm nearly finished the ribbing for the brim. And these are my Knitter's Pride 16-inch circular set, and I'm doing the rib on a 3.75, and I think the actual hat is in a 4mm. I didn't swatch, excuse me, I never swatch for a hat. So yeah, it's coming along. I cast this on because my knitting mojo has been non-existent pretty much for the second half of this year. I managed to obviously do the Soldotna and do some of my Pure Joy, but it's just really been gone. So I think that's really all I've knit on that I have to show, but I wanted to do a final video for 2019. Sorry, excuse me, I've been sick a couple of times. My immune system's really not that great at the moment. And yeah, so I guess an acquisition or 2 acquisitions that I don't think I've spoken about yet. So the first one, which my Pure Joy is in, is this Yarnivore bag by Stitches Tees. So I bought this maybe October or September, October, and I also bought this shirt here, which is another knitted shirt, and it is gold glitter this time. My last one was white, and I bought a different style. So this is the same size, a medium, but I bought the not slim fit one because my other one's a bit tight on me just in my body right now. So that's that. Yeah, my acquisitions, I did an episode maybe a couple months ago when I got back from my holiday, and I was super sick in that one, so I sound much better this time, and I'm on the mend definitely, but I've just a bit of a frog in my throat. So yeah, if you want to check that out, that's I think the previous video, or yes, so it is the episode 17, and then I also did a vlog. So I've actually only done 3 episodes this year, 1 in January, 1 in June, 1 in September, no, October, and then this one here. So 4 actual episodes and 1 vlog. And the year before that I had 15 episodes, so, or 14 episodes. So yeah, if you are still hanging around here, I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming back to me, even though I'm super sporadic. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about what's going on, my lack of knitting mojo. So I don't really talk about massively what I do for work. I work in the logistics field and I travel a lot, and so this year's been really awesome from a travel perspective. I think I counted, I've seen 11 countries, and 3 of those, so Paris, the Netherlands, or so France, the Netherlands, Amsterdam, and England and Scotland, or the United Kingdom, I paid for those and I went to those by myself. All of the other countries that I've gone to for work have been yeah, a work trip, so I didn't necessarily get a lot of time in those countries, but had an excellent venture. But a lot of that traveling and time apart wreaked havoc on my personal life, and so Yarn Husband and I are no longer together. So we separated maybe 5 months ago, which was a bit of a surprise for me. But anyway, that's kind of all I'm going to talk about it. But been living overseas for the last couple of months, and I'm heading home in the next couple of weeks, so really exciting. I don't actually have anywhere to live yet. I know where I'm moving back to, so that's excellent. And yeah, so a bit of an exciting adventure. I'm gonna find somewhere to live, move in. My mum's coming down to help me, so that'll be nice. And yeah, I gotta reestablish myself in a new yarn community in a city that I've lived in before, but I wasn't really a massive knitter then, and I kind of kept to myself. But I guess I don't have any family or partner restrictions anymore. Yeah, anyway, I might cut that bit out. So yeah, and it's been really funny actually. So I think times in my life knitting has given me, or crafting, crochet has given me a lot of joy and brought calm and whatnot. And then when there's been major crises, that really hasn't been the case, and I've struggled so many times this year to even pick up a book or to read. Like, I just have never known this level of discontentment maybe, or I guess heartbreak really at one point. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing other things like focusing on self-care. I went on my epic holiday. I've made some really good friends where I am here, who I really hope that I'll stay friends with when I get back to Australia, and I don't think that will be an issue because we do similar jobs. So yeah, but I really, 2019, if you look at my Instagram, you know, I made a post on New Year's Day. It was like, I don't know what this year has in store for me, but it's, you know, lots of travel, new adventures, new friends, and all of that absolutely did come true. But at the same time, I suffered a really massive personal loss that I just didn't really expect to have. And that rocked me and basically wiped out my crafting mojo. So like, yeah, like usually the challenge of fixing a project that I've stuffed up would make me excited and I'd be really keen to do it, and I just haven't had, it's not like I haven't had the energy because I have been doing plenty of other things. So yeah, it's been interesting. But now I'm learning to prioritize other things. I've been, you know, going back into exercise, and I have had a little bit more stability in my job that I've actually been able to prioritize that. So that's been really good, getting back into that and figuring out how that's going to fit into my life when I get home. I've started a new job next year, same organisation, but a new job, so that's completely different again. So yeah, it's going to be different. I think I said back in June I wasn't sure if I was going to keep the podcast going, and a few people messaged me and said, look, they really enjoyed it and they hope that I do. So yeah, I don't think this is the end for the Mad About You podcast. I don't really know what it looks like. I don't know what my crafting looks like for 2020. But I know a few things. So Creative Ceci has a, she posted something that another maker has started, and you know what, I'm just going to pause this, and quite a few makers are doing it, and so Brown Girl Knits actually started this, and basically it's a stash down plan, so knitting from stash. So Creative Ceci posted about it, that's where I first found about it, and I think I'm going to do it. So the plan is to inventory your yarn before January 1, which I can't do because my yarn is actually in storage from when I flew back to Australia, packed up my house, and yeah, so I get reunited with that in January, which I'm actually really excited about. Yeah, and finding new storage solutions, which will be excellent. Which if anyone's got any ideas or inspiration, tag me on Instagram or comment below actually, because I'm thinking like an IKEA bookcase with my stuff out on display and then super special stuff in Ziploc bags. But I don't want to hide my yarn. Like, I got a place to myself. Well, I will when I find somewhere. So I'm gonna enjoy that. And yeah, so yarn storage solutions. Any ideas, let me know. So basically, pick patterns that go with your yarn and make a list, and then knit from that list all year. And then you get $30 a month, or your own amount. You can use it all at once or break it up, and then you get 2 deal breakers for the year just in case your willpower gives out. So I went on my yarn holiday. I have yarn for all of these different projects, which I'm super excited to make, which sounds weird because I don't have any mojo really, but I'm fighting for it to come back. So I'm excited about the thought of making and having these items. I'm reluctant to start, but that's okay because I'm going to make a plan. So I'm going to do this. There'll be a few times this year that I probably will break that or whatever. Like, I want to be gentle with myself. So, but I do have a massive yarn stash. So by the end of January, I want to have catalogued everything, and everything I own stash wise, like that's not a leftovers, maybe like it's a full skein, will be in my Ravelry stash. That's my plan. And I will have got projects in my pattern queue, and then also my library that I bought. So I will assign that to yarn. And everything I bought in Europe, I bought with a plan, but even one of them I've kind of changed my mind already, so did really well on that. Yeah, so I'm going to do that in 2020, and like I said, there's going to be a few things. There's a celebration of wool in Canberra every year, so I'll probably buy at that, and that's in May. And then I'd really like to go to Bendigo Woolen, the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show, which is in June or July. I've never been. I've wanted to go for 5 years. I've talked about it on here multiple times. I would like to go this year, so do some budgeting and see if that can make that happen. And then there's Knit August Nights in August, but my cousin's getting married and I also want to go skiing with work, so I probably can't do that in August, but who knows. So yeah, there's definitely lots of exciting things for 2020. I think I will keep the podcast up. I don't really know what it'll look like. I might try and vlog more, depending on whether I do anything cool or exciting. So yeah, anyway, that's just an update. Thank you so much for sticking around for my rambling, and I guess Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, it's already gone, Happy Holidays, and then yeah, see you in 2020, where we've got lots of potential for fresh starts, and it's a new decade, so let's I guess put our best yarny foot forward, and yeah, see you then, bye. So just quickly, I forgot to mention it before, so I'm just popping back in now. If you want to find me online, this is the Mad About You podcast on YouTube. You can find me on Ravelry as Mad Bell, and you can find me on Instagram as @mad.about.uewe. Give me a follow there, subscribe if you like. It's been a pleasure.